2020 has been a tough year. The coronavirus has brought the world to a standstill with countries on lockdown, markets crashing, and businesses closing. However, there seems to be a ray of hope at the end of all of this, with news that a vaccine might be around the corner. On the 9th of November, manufacturers Pfizer and BioNTech said that their COVID-19 vaccine candidate was 90% effective at protecting people from the coronavirus. This was huge news because the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, previously said it would require any vaccine to be at least 50% effective in order to be approved, and the numbers presented so far definitely exceeded that threshold. The extraordinary claim is based on early data from a massive trial that enrolled 43,538 people so far. Pfizer and BioNTech have only released some of the data publicly in their announcement, and it has not been reviewed by independent scientists. The companies are still gathering information from the trial and cautioned in the announcement that the final vaccine efficacy percentage may vary. However, as promising as this sounds, it could still be a while before we get any approval from government and wide availability to the public. Let's understand why. For starters, let's understand how vaccines, and specifically this BioNTech vaccine, works. In general, vaccines work by introducing a weakened sample of the virus into the body, thereby prompting the body to produce antibodies, the fighter cells of the body, and hence building up an immunity to the virus. However, the COVID-19 vaccine hasn't been that simple. BioNTech's vaccine uses a still unproven method called gene-based technology. There are currently no approved vaccines for humans that use this gene-based technology. However, gene-based vaccines are the much-hyped underdog in the race to create a coronavirus vaccine. Instead of directly delivering bits of the virus to the immune system for target practice, gene-based vaccines give the body tools to make them on its own. The vaccines are made up of pieces of genetic material that contain the instructions for making the protein. The genetic material from the vaccine then enters cells, which read the instructions and churn out copies of the protein for the immune system to rally against it. University of Colorado immunologist Ross Kedel describes it as, rather than producing the vaccine outside the patient, you make the patient make their own vaccine. So while gene-based vaccines are fast to produce and can be produced in large numbers, a vaccine of this kind has never been approved before, and a similar COVID vaccine would be the first of its kind. Secondly, the media hype around the vaccine might have caused some confusion. You might have heard that the COVID-19 vaccine is 90% effective on your local news. This has been taken by many to mean that the vaccine will work as expected 90% of the time. However, this is a classic case of media misunderstanding. The Pfizer vaccine has 90% efficacy. So what's the difference between this efficacy and efficiency? In short, efficacy is the performance of treatment under ideal and controlled circumstances, and effectiveness is performance under real-world conditions. So what does this mean in terms of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine trial? Clinical trials are precise and neat and aim to answer if a vaccine is safe and if it works. To achieve this, the participants who are recruited to have the vaccine are likely to be generally healthy. In early clinical trials, participants may not be the intended vulnerable group of people we are aiming to protect eventually with this product. For example, children or older people with other conditions. Important parameters to test true efficiency of a vaccine include vaccine performance for different groups, age, ethnic background, other conditions, duration of protection, duration of immunity and effectiveness against evolving virus strains, and the balance of benefit against harms. This level of testing has not yet been done on a wide group of people to claim the true effectiveness of the vaccine, and we could be months away from any true information on that front. Before the vaccine can be used, it needs to be authorized by regulatory bodies, including the FDA, which will look at both how safe and effective the vaccine is. No serious safety concerns for this vaccine have been reported, but the information released doesn't include information on how many people developed more severe forms of the disease and how many had milder cases. Information the FDA will consider in their evaluation. The companies say they should have enough safety data from their studies to file for emergency use authorization from the FDA by the 3rd week of November. Finally, if all goes well and the vaccine is truly shown to be effective, there's a huge logistic challenge to overcome. Every country in the world will be looking to order the vaccine, and large amounts should be produced. The vaccine's handling requirements are stringent. It has to be stored at about minus 75 degrees Celsius, minus 103 Fahrenheit, more than 50 degrees Celsius lower than any other vaccine currently on the market in the US. Finally, it won't be available to everyone immediately. It will likely be distributed to healthcare workers first, and then to other groups at high risk for severe cases of COVID-19, like essential workers and people with pre-existing conditions. A big challenge still ahead is the logistics of getting shots in the arms of people who need them most. These logistic reasons are one of the main reasons why it's important to flatten the curve, since a large number of high-risk and infected people means more demand for an immediate supply of the vaccine. Despite all these things that might be standing against the vaccine's widespread availability anytime soon, there's reason to be hopeful. The progress on the vaccine is definitely proceeding faster than expected, and the day when we can go back to leading our lives normally is in sight.